Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. Today, we are reaching our 20th session, right, of this webinar, which we started around May, June. And today, we have a very interesting topic, and I'm sure like everyone is facing that right now. That is, AI is creating a lot of buzz that we know. It's cliched statement by now. But the point is, um, it is creating a lot of disruption, a lot of buzz, but in the actual implementation stage, how far we have gone. So our topic is very relevant or related to that theme, from hype to habit, building AI intuition across the enterprise. And we have our speaker today, Shubhra Haldar, and our moderator will be Paromita Ghosh, and I'll give their introduction right in some time. So over the last few years, AI has captured boardrooms and news headlines alike. From generative AI transforming creativity to predictive model, reshaping business forecasting, every organization is experimenting, and we are never undermining the capability of AI, what it can do. But still, the question is on the adoption part, the adoption percentage part. It's not yet reached to that level where we can say uh, it has it has become, the adoption has become even, right? And it has not reached to that level where now everyone is going and implementing that, and we are getting customer concurrence in doing that as well. Everyone is showing interest, but when it comes to the implementation, there are improvements, but still we are lagging behind. And that is not my point, that is the data, right, which is coming from different consulting organization. So adoption is uneven. Pilots thrive in pockets, enthusiasms fade, and daily usage often remains low. I'll also share some of data point from my organization also. The real challenge is not about just implementing, but to internalizing it. How can enterprise move from hype of AI to building habits of AI thinking, where the employees can naturally trust and co-create with the intelligent system? It's not about replacement anymore, it's a co-creation. Now, I'm sure all of you can remember a few years back when the mobile came in, right? Mobile development came in, I think, decades ago. So earlier we were focusing mostly on the web development, and then we, right, started focusing on the mobile development, and we used to call it as mobile first. Now the time has come, right, to think like AI first. It's not that AI is just a choice, right? But it is a kind of start thinking of AI implementation. So artificial intelligence has transitioned from being a buzzword to the business enabler. Yet, while organizations invest heavily in the AI tools and pilots, if you go to any organization, you will see a lot of pilots, a lot of use cases. But how many of them are actually getting converted into revenue earning part? That is where is the question. Now, the challenge is not the adoption, but it's assimilation. How do you move from AI habit, right? AI hype to AI habit. It's like doing agile versus being agile, like earlier, that used to be a kind of phrase where intuition for data driven AI augmented thinking becomes second nature of every employee. Now, with this fundamental context, I would like to introduce our speaker for the session today, Shubhra Haldar. So Shubhra is an accomplished agile coach and scrum master with over 20 years of experience in the software industry. Currently at Lexmark, a subsidiary of Xerox, Shubhra leads agile transformation and delivery for cloud solutions team, driving efficiency and collaboration across the organization. Shubhra holds multiple certifications, including SAFe 6.0, Advanced Scrum Master, POPM, CSM, PSM, and SAFe Agilist. With a strong background of software development and product ownership, Shubhra has contributed to a wide range of projects, from managing print services, cloud-based analytics to mobile and telecom solution. Shubhra is recognized for technical leadership, process excellence, and commitment to delivering performance and innovation. As part of Lexmark's AI inclusion initiative, Shubhra actively champions the integration of our AI-driven practices into the team. Now, let me take this opportunity to introduce my friend Paromita, who has come forward to volunteer to be a moderator for today. So Paramita is a seasoned leader with over 2 decades of experience in the telecom industry, currently serving as the general manager in Ericsson. She has a proven track record in service delivery, business strategy, cross-functional collaboration, transformation, capacity management, driving operational excellence and business growth. With extensive expertise in 5G, cloud, Azure, AWS, and telecom innovation, Paramita has led large-scale global programs, optimized service operation, and ensured strategic alignment with business objectives. Her leadership has transformed teams, increased profitability, and enhanced delivery governance. Now, before I hand it over to Paramita to take this session forward, I would like to quickly set some ground rules. The session will be continuing till 10:45 to 50, and after that, we'll give you around 10 to 15 minutes of time for the Q&A. So I would request to hold your question till that point in time, not to just disrupt the flow, so that they can continue with the conversation. And then, of course, we will be giving you opportunity for asking question. Okay, thank you so much, and over to you, Paramita.
Shiva, for the wonderful introduction and such a timely event of this when we are in the juncture where AI is like all over. It's probably the most talked about in any forum, any gathering. It's such a timely event that we are having it here. Okay, so we have the wonderful guest here, Shubhra. When we talk about AI in organizations, there are a lot of people who can say what AI is, what AI can does, but few instinctively know when to use the AI and for what. People, team members sometimes come and say, "Can we use this? Can we use AI for a particular this icon, or is it okay if I upload this particular data in a generative AI platform?" So a lot of there's a lot of gap we see between the knowledge and the intuition. So my question to you, the first one goes like, what does AI intuition really mean in an enterprise context, and how is it different from AI literacy or awareness?
Okay. So first of all, I'd like to thank Shubhu for such a overwhelming introduction. I'm not used to it. Okay. So moving to the question, yeah. So AI intuition. Of course, it is something different than AI literacy. So let me first talk about AI intuition. It is nothing but the ability to instinctively recognize where, when, and how we can effectively apply AI to solve a business case or maybe take a business decision. Not just technical, rather I would say contextually and most importantly ethical. So that's what AI intuition. It is not about being an AI expert. So it's about developing a habit of understanding AI strengths, limitation, and applying AI across roles. So AI is open for every role. So that's what AI intuition is. Say, for example, let me ask you a question. So say you are in a meeting and somebody brings up a tough challenge of forecasting. So what would you do? Would you wait for the data person to chime in and then take decision?
A very interesting one. See, when we see all these things where AI is being used, forecast is especially very important, right? Because a lot of budgeting and the future part and the business alignment, all these things goes into it. And as I must say that, okay, so for AI, we may have the first cut from the AI, and then obviously have a human intervention in it, which we call human inline. So I was hearing to some other video last evening, and then it said that when we are perfecting the AIs these days, at some point of time, when all the data and all the algorithms are like super quality with every 100% quality we have, probably all the inputs given to an AI would be having almost similar output. But today, if you think, if a script is given to five different film directors, and the same script is given, they'll be producing totally different 5 movies.
Exactly.
So I'm taking some different kind of industries example, but this is what human is. Human has a point of view, where AI does not have a point of view. It's very different.
Right.
But AI is obviously, you can start with AI. As Shubha was
Right.
saying in his introduction, that mobile first, now it is like AI first, and then the
Right.
human intervention comes.
Right. So in such cases, the response might be that let me just have a look into some AI model and try to fetch the trends, right? So that's what instinct, or rather AI intuition is. That is what it means. I mean, you are doing something, sensing that this might help. You are applying AI, sensing that this might help, not because somebody has asked you to use AI in all of your meetings. Right? So that is what AI intuition means. So if I set some real world example, that will be like, say, a global retailer. The frontline store managers, they start using some AI powered dashboard for real time staffing. It is not because the headquarter has mandated them to do so, but just because they've seen what is the output of it, how easier it has made their lives. So that is what we call living AI, not just knowing AI.
Fantastic. Thanks, Shubhra. So AI is like feeling when and how to use AI. So the intuition is like feeling, and instead of asking, can I help? Can I take help from AI? It's coming into our DNA. It brings me to the next question on a little bit about what kind of culture we are supporting. We talk about a lot of culture, and we say that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And we've seen organizations that invest a lot of their in AI, but neglect a little bit on the mindset, a mind shift, or the mindset shift which is needed for the AI. And employees often hesitate. They do not have the safe platform to do experimentation. They fear on the repercussions and the judgments which may follow. So, what kind of cultural support that AI intuition will need? And is it about upskilling or something deeper?
Yeah, that is a very good question, I'd say. So, upskilling, reskilling, whatever you say, is definitely required. It's required to understand how AI works and how we can use AI effectively. But then only that is not sufficient. So you need to have a deeper layer of psychological safety in space. Like, you should be able to, the employees should be able to safely do experimentation. They might fail. It is not that when I'm doing experiment, I will always succeed, right? So there might be failures, but we don't call that as failures. Rather, we call those as learning experience. And that can be a step for your next success that you're going to
Stepping
bring,
stones. Yeah.
right? So, yeah, so it is like, so upskilling, reskilling is definitely required. But then we need a basic layer of psychological safety in space. I like to call it a safe space to fail. So I love this term actually. So that is what is needed. So if I give you some um, example from our day-to-day lives. So remember when we learned to ride a bicycle? Did we learn it on the first day? No, right? So definitely we might have fell down multiple times. And there was somebody, there are mother or father or brother, elder brother, somebody who was making us learn. They would have told us or given us that encouragement, no, you can do it, get up, back, and start, try again. So that is the kind of culture that AI needs. And nowadays I think many organizations are already doing it, but I can draw a example from my organization as well. So we do run hackathon. I mean, previously it was called hackathon days, but now I think many people do call it as AI hack days. So they have specific days where they welcome great ideas, or a period of time where people concentrate and work on these experimentations. So these are the stuffs. This is the culture that our organization should promote. And I mean, if employees are not having time to experiment, to bring out new ideas, so I mean, there will always be a fear of not trying it any day, right? As in when you try on a thing, it becomes like a habit. You are more used to it, you try to build it or try to use it regularly. But then
True.
that culture is very, very important. So when actually to flourish innovation within an organization, your people should not be afraid to experiment. And there should not be any afraid to fail. So failures should be a point or a sharing stories. Even I say this multiple times, even within our organization as well, that leaders, they are the ones who can. I mean, we in town halls and everything, we get to hear a lot of success stories, right? But these learning stories or the failure stories are also very, very important for the employees to
Very true.
know that, yeah, so leaders can also fail and they have learned out of it. So there is no fear in doing that, because sometimes we don't realize that, okay, I am not judging a person using their failures. But when you go to an employee, that employee doesn't know that my leadership is not judging me. They're expecting that my leadership is judging me. So sometimes this communication, sharing experiences, these all really matter.
Fantastic. So leading with vulnerability brings a psychological safety,
Right.
which fantastic, fantastic. Very nicely said, Shubhra. So upskilling will always be incomplete if we just give them the training and then create no environment of experimenting or implementing those theoretical knowledge.
Right.
Okay, great. So coming to the next question, Shubhra, we have the AIs in different kinds of forms in all the organizations. Some of the people, as you just mentioned about hackathon, I also concluded a hackathon of about more than 2,000 employees last week itself, and we are yet to get the certificates this the upcoming weeks, and a lot of follow-up actions on those great ideas which has come up. So I see different kinds of adoption or different kinds of perception of AI in different forums. The technical people will be actually doing the Python codes, etc., with the different kinds of services, using different kinds of services. The project managers or different kinds of other units like HR, they may say it too technical. So, what do you think when AI often stays confined to data teams? How do we democratize AI across all the units or all the functional units of an organization?
Yeah, that's actually a very apt question. So there's a myth around that AI means it is too technical. It is only for the people who code, which is absolutely
Right.
wrong. So AI is actually for every role. Each and every role can use AI some or the other way. We just need to know that there is something available and we have to use it. Think AI as electricity. We just use it, right? We don't know that how it works, how it is developed. We just switch it on and the fan just goes on. So it's like that. So say for example, in a hospital, these days hospitals are using, the nurses, they are using software, right? So they are using a AI powered scheduling tool where they can schedule their uh, shifting, the shifting and the patient care module. So for that, do we need to train the nurses for machine learning? No, right? They don't need to know about machine learning for using that, but they're getting the benefit out of it. So the key is we need to make AI invisible and accessible for everybody. Invisible in the sense like we need to embed it in the normal day-to-day workflows. Then only they will get to see the outcome, the benefit. But the myth is that AI is for technical guys. No, it is not. These days we get a lot of trainings from a lot of organizations. You go anywhere, even in LinkedIn also, we'll find a lot of trainings which specifically says AI for everyone. So AI is actually for everyone. We just need to open up that path So we need to integrate that. I think most of the organizations are doing it. I can talk about my organization. So we have this AI integrated. We have this in our Microsoft 365 package. So it's there. So it's just a matter of using it. It is there in Teams. So there's a very good functionality called facilitator available in Teams. So it automatically tries to list down or takes note about the meeting and will nicely summarize what is happening. And even it can translate. So right now it is not able to translate in Bengali to English, but we have our Philippines counterpart. So they actually talk in their Filipino language and it translates them in English and prepares the note properly. So these kind of tools are there already in place. It's just that we need to use it. And sometimes it's like, so facilitator, it's like when you create a meeting, there is just a button to check. You can just check that and then it will do its job. It does the time check also. So you are how much you are running into a meeting. So you are halfway through, you are 5 minutes left for the meeting. So all these notifications also it gives. So my point is like for different tools, in different ways, AI is there. You just need to use it and you need to make it invisible. So until and unless you integrate all these within your daily workflows, it will not be visible and accessible to all, right? So you have to, the key is you need to make it invisible and accessible by all.
Well said. Because one is using the AI, which I think is 100% available to everyone. And the other thing is building something on AI using some machine language, some LLM or something. So that is different. So that probably is reserved for the people who have that background knowledge, but using AI can be done. And I have seen the talent acquisition team of various organizations using it. Even few of the LinkedIn posts are being posted by AI as well, by their own bots as well. So yeah, it's well said, Shubham. So coming to the next question to you is so when we say all these things, HR and all, they have their own pilots. Some of the financial services they have their own pilots. There are a lot of pilots which are being there in different kinds of organizations right now, but few are scaled. So projects often stall because the excitement fades away and the initial hype dies down before the impact is proven. So many enterprises rush to adopt AI without clarity of use cases or outcomes. Question to you, Shubhra, is how can organizations move beyond this pilot purgatory?
A very good question again. So see, what I can say about pilots is something like our New Year resolution maybe. So everybody takes a New Year resolution and then midway, or not even midway, I think somebody
One
never
quarter.
starts it and somebody even maximum 1 quarter, as you said. So pilots are like that. So until and unless you imbibe it, you really want to do it. So say for example, we make it like our fitness journey, right? So we set small goals and try to achieve that and try to celebrate that and try to spread the word. So that is what is needed. So a real life example would be like, say, a logistic company. They started using AI for their delivery optimization, but they didn't open that up for all of their sites. They just started in a small scale in one of the city, and they really saw the benefits out of it. The delivery was optimized and the fuel cost dropped. So when this word spread, then actually slowly they tried to roll it out in multiple cities. So it's like that. So you start with a small scale, small goals. You celebrate the small wins, that gives you motivation, and then maybe you roll it out in a bigger scale. So until and unless you do it, so because if I'm waiting for rolling it out everywhere and then getting result, I mean, at one point of time, like our New Year resolution, we'll lose interest in that. So until and unless people see the benefits coming out of it, and that too in a short period of time, they will lose interest. It will not motivate them. So keeping it small, having small goals, celebrating small wins is the key, I would say.
And I can sense the agile coach within you speaking, which is very apt as well. Okay, so what about the fear? Because a lot of questions I see in different forums which are being raised. A recent workforce study shows nearly 60% of employees fear AI might take their work. They might be even, I think we were part of the same conversation where people were raising this question: will we be reporting to an AI manager, bot manager? How will that happen? So people either face a threat that their job might be taken away by AI, or they fear that they have a completely different thing to do when they have an AI boss. So, what do you think, Shubhra, employees? How do you turn this fear into confidence? Because AI has already come. It is not a future. It is present. What is happening? So, how do you turn this fear into confidence? What's your suggestion?
See, as we are humans, fear will always be there. And this is nothing but the fear of unknown, right? So we really don't know what is there. But on the same note, I'd like to bring in some analogy with our real life. When ATM was launched, so what did the bank tellers think? They think that their job is gone, right? But I mean, it was not the case actually. What happened is their roles evolved. They started focusing more onto a customer relationship. The ATM was doing its the automation stuff that is, I mean, no human intervention is needed for that. And they started shifting into a more specific job, or more rather important job of keeping their customers happy. Another example, I mean, say for instance, when this e-commerce came in, so did the farmers lose their job? No, right? The farmers didn't lose their job. The shopkeepers didn't lose their job. So what happened? They have now adopted themselves to a more hybrid model. So they are selling through the e-commerce platform. They're still reaching to the people directly, and they're selling through the e-commerce platform. The farmers are selling, the shopkeepers are selling. If you go to Amazon, you will see your Apollo store nearby, or your More store nearby. They're delivering it online. Why are we using e-commerce? Because it is convenient to us. And that again does not mean that there is no local shop nearby. There are still few people who are going to the local shop, right? So the point behind telling all this is, there is, I mean, fear is obviously, it's by nature human will have, but communication is the key. We need to share the success stories or our learnings. Like, these are the analogies we have seen in past. So AI is nothing rocket science, but similar to something, a new technology is coming in. So it is only going to help you out. It is only going to make you more efficient. Yes, upskilling is required, reskilling is required. More importantly, reskilling is required, because now your job is going to change. You are no longer going to do the mundane work of, say, finding out some data from your document. AI is there to do it out. Rather, how to utilize that data, how to project that data, or how to take a strategic decision out of the data is what you are going to concentrate on. So the key thing is, your job role is going to get evolved. You are going to get more time to do this creative thinking rather than spending time on your. But again, there is a downside of it. Downside of it being, there is a instinct for most of the human beings to use AI the different way. What we try to do is, we do our household work and we put in AI to write a thesis paper for us. So that is not what it's meant for. So we are meant for doing the creative thinking, and let AI do our normal mundane work, the automated work. So that's a what do I say? That's a decision that we need to take how we are going to use AI. So if we are going to use AI the right way, I don't think there is any fear. It's just that we need to communicate the same, we need to share stories, and we need to be transparent.
Great. So we do not fear of losing jobs, but we have to be very cautious about losing job to a person who knows AI.
Yes. So if you are a person who doesn't know AI, then yes, there is a fear. So AI is the new technology that has come up, right? So you have to upskill yourself. So person who knows how to use AI effectively should not have any fear of losing their job. They just have to be open, adapt themselves to the new role. That's it. And I think there's a good term to use about this collaboration, which is we use AI as an executor, and humans can be the strategist. So AI as executor, human as strategist. That is the key.
Right, right. And AI sometimes is too much of data driven and everything is like, and the human intuition part of it, that
Yes.
will never go away from. Like we can take some decision with some prior things or something, which is probably AI is trying to emulate by neural networks and etc. But I think human intuition will be irreplaceable all the
Right.
time. Fantastic. Um, Shubhra, my next question to you is we have a lot of tools like ChatGPT, Gemini. These are showing what human AI collaboration can look like. Yet there are fear of automation, while others are misusing it as a shortcut. I see there's a lot of papers which needs to be written, as you just mentioned, that thesis paper is being written by the AI. So how can leaders ensure that AI complements human judgment rather than replacing it?
Okay. So I just got to remember some funny thing. Yesterday only I saw in LinkedIn a video wherein people now have become habituated in using ChatGPT, right? So a person goes to the store and goes to the billing section, and the guy who is there in the billing in charge is asking a question first, looking into the ChatGPT, framing the question, and then asking the person. The person is writing that question in ChatGPT, getting an answer from ChatGPT, and then answering the question. So it's like, I mean, we need to judge how we use AI, right? I mean, if we use it properly, it can make us a lot more efficient. But then the key is using it properly. So if I draw another example, so maybe in we all travel in flights, right? So in flight, we do have an autopilot feature, right? So when the pilots want to rest or go to the loo, they put the flight in autopilot mode and come in. But then when there is some turbulence, can they leave the plane in autopilot mode? No, right? So humans are required for doing all this critical job. So human judgment is very, very important. And there is an analogy like if your work has a risk component, so higher the risk component, the higher human intervention is needed. If there is low risk component, like it is some repetitive work, you can simply take out a human and put a AI executor or AI bot doing it for you. But then as the risk increases, then you need to have a layer of human judgment in there. So it's like AI handling your data heavy tasks and while humans bringing in the context. So how leaders can ensure this in the organization? So leaders can actually share their own stories, right? Say, for instance, being a manager who uses AI to spot a market trend, but then takes his own judgment to pivot the strategy of the organization, right? It just cannot rely on the market trends and just send that out.
True, true.
So examples like this can be shared across the organization. These are nothing but some stories. Usually what happens when employees hear to their leaders, they get motivated, they get encouragement, right? So if this happens, this communication happens, then I think it will be far more easier for them to adopt. Another example that I can give you is in the banking industry. So these days, I'm sure they're using this AI tool to scan loan applications. But what will happen if they only rely on the AI tools? Can they remove the loan officer? No, right? Because the loan officer is the main person who will judge that whom to give the loan or not. Otherwise, a genuine loan application might get rejected, and a fake loan application might get. So the human touch is very important, and the communication again is.
Fantastic. Yeah. So the human in line is super critical, super important here. And AI is, we may say, as a co-pilot and not an autopilot.
Right.
It's not the main pilot. The leaders bring the empathy, the heavy duty or heavy mundane tasks can be done with the AI, but
Right.
human being brings the context, the empathy, the creativity, the intuition, and when these two intersect, magic happens, isn't
Yes.
it? Okay, fantastic. Moving to the next question, Shubhra. Um, okay, so we know that AI is inevitable. We are doing the AI. The leader has created a psychological safe space. So there is a project which is now a tech project, which is AI is done. Still, if the leadership treats AI as a tech project, it stays confined within the IT. But when the leaders themselves use AI for strategy and insight, it then sets the cultural tone. What do you think, Shubhra, role these the leaders play in building AI intuition at scale? Okay, not confined within that particular department only, within that particular project only.
Yeah. Actually, a very good question, I'd say. I mean, leadership has a very important role in playing when it comes to adopting AI at scale or building AI intuition at scale. Because what we see is most of the organization, they have a lot of enthusiasm that AI is the buzzword right now. We have to use AI, we have to use AI. But somewhere down the line, there's a bottleneck in the leadership. So you just don't need to think AI as a tech project. Rather, you need to imbibe that culture into that organization. So you have to bring that mindset. You have to put in that as a strategy for your organization. Then only it will start flowing down. And culture never happens bottom up. It always happens top down, right? So
True.
when a CEO shares how they use AI to draft their company vision, it sends a powerful message, right? So if the CEO can use AI to draft the vision, why can't we use? So it's like building that culture, and it's a fact that most of the organizations are not able to use AI or adopt AI at scale because of this leadership bottleneck. Most of the AI tools that are available right now, I mean, the ones that organizations can use with all the cybersecurity, governance policy, etc., being there in place, those are all costly ones. So there has to be a budget allotted for this. So if you really want your organization to include AI or embed AI in their workflows, you have to keep that budget that you need to spend, right? There has to be a sponsorship from the leaders, from the CEO, from the company vision or strategy. You have to include that. Until unless you do it, even though people start experimenting, after one point of time, they will not be able to expand that, right? Or really use that or productize that. So that is the key.
So investment is needed when we want to make sure it is scaled. And it does not end in the R&D department. It actually goes to the customer, and then we may see what all probable customers will be able to take it. Unless the money is coming, investments cannot be one-sided.
And it is not only about investing in the AI, specific AI tool. It is about investing in the infrastructure.
Mm.
It is about investing in your talent. It is about creating a
Absolutely.
safe space so that people start experimenting. So all these three things are the enablers that you need to do.
Right, well said. Now, when we say it is all these things that you just mentioned are needed, I think an overarching thing which is coming as um, is a mindset. It's the model that the mindset they want to use or they want to see, um, and it's also the culture. With that, the thing that first strikes or the next strikes to me is the ethics. So when we have all these, in general, the buzzword is there, everybody is online, we have investment, when AI becomes embedded in the workflows, the ethical decision making risks gets overlooked. It might be overlooked. So the bias in the hiring tool, the opaque recommendations, they can cause real harm, right? Shubhra, when we embed ethical thinking into everyday use, and not just governance policies, how do we do it?
See, ethics is not something that is only written in your policies. It is
Mm-hmm.
not meant to be. So you really need to train your employees on the ethical part. I mean,
Mm.
I'm sure every organization does have a mandatory course to be done every year on the ethics side. So these are the ethical
Yeah,
policies you need to follow. Even our organization does. So ethics is like that. It is imbibed. It should be imbibed within oneself, right? Think about, say, seat belts in the car. It is not optional. It is mandatory, right? I mean, it's a different story that we Indians try to manipulate it some or the other way. But then that is a different story. But it is something imbibed within a car. You have to wear a seatbelt. Otherwise, these days, the new cars that are coming up, they start beeping, right? If you are not putting a seatbelt on. So it is like that. And the training, giving the proper training. So, say, for example, there's a recruitment firm who are using AI for shortlisting the candidates. Those people, they need to have that ethics in mind so that, they do a fair decision. They try to catch a biasness or unfair judgment that your AI tool has made and try to report that. And these kind of stories, when shared or when, so if you share this and you are appraised for that, then that becomes a learning for everybody in your organization that you are
yep,
behaving ethically and that is being recognized.
recognized. Yeah. Yeah.
Then it creates or it opens a lot of venues in others' mind as well that this is what we also need to do. This is something the organization wants to do.
Right. As we say, can we do this? Is it the right thing to do?
Yeah.
Or and plus, are we doing this the right way? So it's looking into both sides of the coin at the same time and seeing if this activity stays correct. If I look back 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line as well,
Right.
will I be proud of that? Okay, fantastic. Next question, Shubhra. And I see your real life examples are being appreciated in the chat as well.
Oh,
Really love it
thank you.
because when we are talking about such an item which is like still the world is trying to know, it is evolving. These real life examples really help to grasp the knowledge. You are demystifying it. Okay, so Shubhra, when we talk about the next skills. Like AI is reshaping the job descriptions faster than universities can redesign the curricula. So the next generation workforce will need more technical knowledge, more than technical knowledge, right? It's technical knowledge plus plus. So as AI intuition comes as a core competency, what future skills will define an AI empowered workforce?
See, I can think about three important skills that are going to be very crucial going forward. The first one being critical thinking. So it is very, very important because, say, for instance, market analyst who wants to get some data set using AI, but then how that person can combine that and apply their own strategy or critical thinking, and then draft that or present that to the organization or to the stakeholders, is what is really going to matter. Because data is there, but then how you are going to tell your story about it. So telling good data stories is also one thing that we need to do. So critical thinking, data storytelling, and the last but the most important thing will be empathy. So that has no replacement. Till date, I don't see anything that AI can do which nearly relates to empathy. So it's only a human stuff, and it is very, very important to keep a healthy culture going in an organization. So empathy is most important, and then critical thinking. One other thing that comes to my mind is maybe so prompt engineering. The way you prompt really matters how the AI chatbot or whatever it is responds back, right? We have seen this in our normal Google search as well. So Google is there, but if you put in 5%, 5% are going to prompt in a different way, and then Google is going to reply them a different way. So if I'm trying to find out some information, it can very well happen that using the same Google, out of that 5, only one has found out some useful links out of that, which can relate. So it will really depend. Prompt engineering is, I think, going to be another important skill.
Very true. There's a lot of trainings in the prompt engineering itself these days. Okay, fantastic. My last question to you today, Shubhra, before I open it up for the quick Q&A. What are the signs that AI has become a habit in the organization? We can say, okay, now my organization has AI as a habit. What will be the signs?
Yeah, so measuring how effectively AI is being used is really important, because we just say that we have to use AI and people are using it. Say, for example, Copilot. So we have enabled Copilot, we have got Copilot license for everybody, but then how many are actually using it? So that data is already available there. We just need to track the data and find out how much efficiency is AI tools bringing in. So it is like, again, if I give an analogy to a real life sample. So I mentioned that AI strategy should be something like a fitness journey, right? So even in our fitness also, we don't measure the membership, the license cost, right? What we measure is the output. So how much we are losing in 3 months or gaining, whoever, I mean, whatever is the reason they have joined the gym. So how much improvement we are done in 3 months, say for example, and we can celebrate that. So measuring is very, very important. So watching what people do, not just listening to what they say, is very important. There should be a metrics in place, tracking how effectively AI is being used, what is the benefit it is giving you out. Maybe using AI, people are writing the test cases, right? Unit test cases. These days, most people do that. So that is saving a lot of work. So maybe going forward, what we can measure is not the velocity of a team, rather the value that they are delivering within the time. So velocity is going to be, I mean, because with AI inclusion and everything, obviously we'll gain speed. But how much value that is delivering is something that should be measured.
Right. And finding out what that value is probably what the leaders need to do now. That is the need of the hour.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Shubhra, for this wonderful discussion. We now open up for Q&A. And let me just go to the chat and see if there is already any question which has been put there. Okay, so I see Deepa. How should 15 plus 20 plus should start approach AI? I'm assuming this is about experience, 15 plus years of experience or 20 plus years of experience who are quite senior in their own career journey. What would be your
So,
suggestion?
yeah, hi Deepa. So, I mean, there is no age constraint, I feel, in using AI. So AI is there for every age, for even it is there for a child who is studying in a school, maybe. It is there for our elderly parents who wants to use it. So there is no age bar for that. There's different stuffs, and the most important thing here is continuous learning. So we have to keep that path of continuous learning open always. And we might have to learn the skill of reskilling ourselves, unlearning and relearning, which is very important, especially for the people who are 15 plus or 20 plus years experience. The most difficult thing they find is unlearning and then relearning, because to relearn properly, you need to unlearn first. You cannot still have that thinking back of your mind that, oh, that guy is just come up, just joined fresher, and how can he think something which is and better than what I can do. This doesn't make any sense these days. So it can be a fresher, it can be a 20 plus years experience. There is opportunity to learn from everybody. So we have to keep ourselves open for continuous learning, and we have to what to say? We have to keep an eye on what is going around. So that is the key.
Okay, I see a hand raised. Yep. Any follow questions? Moinak,
Yes.
you may go ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah. One of the aspects of using AI or the challenges in the enterprise or within the organizations, which I find is the data part, the data privacy part. I mean, lot of restrictions from the security team in terms of using the AI extensively, because the enterprise level AI bots or AI tools like your Copilot or some others are not that exhaustive how we have the open platform ones. So that is one of the challenges, that how do you maintain the data safety while using AI within your organization, because you work in different VPN networks and all these things, which becomes a very challenging to get the full benefit out of using the AI's potential.
It's a very good question, Mainak. So what I would like to say is this is currently one of the bottlenecks in adopting AI at scale. So what we see is we get to hear about a lot of tools, a lot of good stuffs that they're doing. But then when it comes to our organization, we have only a set of ones which are allowed. So this is right now one of the limitations. But having said that, I think there is work going on in building a custom model where data security will not, instead of not, I'd like to say a lesser concern, maybe. And obviously, these days using AI, so previously when we were not using AI, we used to only have a security check, cyber security check, when something is going to be released to production. But these days we are having an AI check as well. So when it is going off through a sign-off process, when your release is going off through a sign-off process, we have included that AI inclusion check. So where if you have used AI, where you have used, what is the functionality you have built in with AI, what tools you have used. So those are all going through this policy. Right now, there is no strict governing policy yet that organizations are following, but I think work is going on in imbibing that, and that is going to be one of a big domain, I would like to say, going forward. And a new role might be coming in, who will actually look into that governance part. I don't know whether, does that answer your question? Okay. I think I saw Preetham raising a hand.
Yeah.
Preetham, do you have a question?
Okay.
There are some questions in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, let me take a question from the chat. How do we build empathy in the age of hyper automation?
Great question. So whoever has asked, I'm not seeing the chat right now.
It's Lakshmi. Lakshmi
Yes.
has mentioned this
Oh,
question.
hi, Lakshmi. Yeah, so Lakshmi, great question. Definitely empathy is very, very important when we are all talking about AI, automation, and everything. But we need to understand one thing, that empathy is something that none of the AI tools.
Okay. I'm just switching off the video so that
Pritam, we have moved to the next question. We'll come to you if you can hold for a moment, please.
Yeah, so what I was telling is there is none of the AI tools available which can nearly simulate empathy. So it is only a human that can have this important skill of empathy. So I think communication is the key thing. So we need to communicate, we need to collaborate. That is the whole thing. I mean, we are using a lot of AI tools. We run of them, and we don't want to become robots. In the other word, if I say, we don't want to become robots in the organization. Then, I mean, there can be AI bots who can work for the organization, but will that help? No, right? So it is very, very important to communicate, to collaborate among the team members, within the teams, or even within your organization. There can be some teams sitting out, not in your location. Again, maybe some other department. So collaboration and communication is the key stuff, I would say. Does
Good.
that answer your question, Lakshmi?
Yes. Thanks a lot, Tribra. Great listening to you and nice to see you again. Congrats.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Lots
Thank
of
you for
insights.
joining.
Thanks a
Thank you for
lot.
joining.
Thanks.
Okay. Great. Moving to Pritam. Pritam, if you are back.
yes, I am. Actually, there was a network snag. Sorry about that. Okay, so I've just switched off the video to make it easy. Okay, the thing is that first of all, it was a fantastic discussion. It was well moderated, and we had a lot of discussion of the good propositions of AI. Shubhra, let us just address a kind of reality check. Are the organizations, I mean, like in our traditional SaaS, are the organizations prepare, like we are having pilots, we are having hackathons. Now, is hackathon right now a kind of more of a checklist thing that we are doing it for the sake of it? Because I have just come across a hackathon just last night, wherein I saw that a lot of things, a lot of use cases are copy pasted here and there. A lot of things are very template based and so on, and it is of a national level hackathon that I'm talking about. That is one. Second is when you talk about the adaptability of AI in organizations, don't you feel what I sense is that first of all, it is an investment like we used to do in automation and all that, right? So why would a organization invest in full throttle without doing pilots, POCs, and check it out, right? So, is that the case that organizations are also kind of in double mind? Because once the thing is, because one, your environment and your ecosystem and your teams have to be ready for it, whether it be upskilling and resourcing, and then after POC is delivered with results means ROI, then we can go for a kind of full scale rollout. So, is that the case that it is a kind of one step ahead and two step back for organizations moving in this AI path?
Yeah, see, the main challenge, or I would say the bottleneck that organizations face is they don't, or rather, they underestimate the cost involved, because cost is not only involved for AI tools, cost is involved for having an infrastructure, because that is very important to scale. Cost is involved in upskilling and reskilling. So that is why I said that maybe we need to start with small goals. Yeah. So, sorry, I lost my voice.
You can take
No
some
problem.
water and come back. You
Get
Yeah,
some
can.
water. Yeah, you can wait.
yeah. So I'm back. Yeah. So what I was saying is we need to start with small goals. So what we follow in our organization is we run in SAFE. So as you know, in SAFE, there is a 2 weeks time frame or a sprint provided for innovation work. So these days, what is happening is people are focusing on doing something using AI that is going to benefit them in their work in future. So they try to build something in that 2 weeks, demo that, show the benefit, and then include that in the product. So that is how organizations also get to see the benefit and get that confidence in investing. Does that answer your question?
If I may add just one point here, Shubhra, like when you said safe, there is a famous concept for innovation accounting, right? So that means whenever the organization is investing, we all know that since we brought the point of IP iteration. So since they're investing, the clients are investing heavily, they would like to see that, okay, we are not here innovating to get a Nobel Prize. That's not our intent, right? Our intent is how can you make, right? I mean, how can these innovative idea can help the customer in improving their business in and getting them the value. As you rightly said, it's not about only measuring the vanity metrics, but also the metrics which is really generating value for them. And that's where the clients are interested in investing, right, money, even if they are not getting any so-called right delivery value in return, right, in the IP iteration. So to answer like Pritam's question, yes, to some extent, every organization has some target of doing some hackathons. I won't disagree on that point. But still, I think the mindset is changing, right? If not everything, but yeah, there are certain great ideas which are also getting implemented. But still, the question remains that out of that use case implementation, right, out of those ideas, how much we can really monetize. That is where is the challenge, and that is why we are going to have maybe a further discussion, right, moving forward. How can we really monetize? How can we convert that idea or the use case into a revenue generation module for the organization? Here is the key. Over to you,
One thing
Shubha.
I can add here is like in our organization, what we do is we also used to have, even before SAFE, we used to have these hackathon days. And there also, similarly, there many ideas would have been awarded, rewarded, everything. But then it disappeared in the way. So what was done is there was a survey that was taken in. There was a 360-degree feedback that was taken in. And the comment that came out was the speed in moving your idea to a product. So that is lacking. And the company should actually work on those feedbacks and try productizing good ideas or great ideas that come out of that.
Okay. Great. Last one question in the chat
Yeah.
is, can you throw some light on AI in defense system? Do you have idea on that?
Yeah, so defense system is actually, there are two things. One is they are very, very concerned about security, data security. So when they take some product, even like for Lexmark, we sell printers, right? So, and printer softwares. So they are very, very, what I would like to add is they're very, very reluctant to even move to cloud, right? So
And be
for
private
them,
cloud only.
yes, it is difficult. But then if you see other sides. I'm sorry, I'm fighting with a throat infection, so sometimes my voice will get lost. If you see, the other side is regarding what AI tools can give you is some data analysis, some good trends that you can see, which can ultimately help in developing something in the defense side. So that is something that AI can be used in. But then, having said that, when any of the defense organizations are taking in something from any third party or any other vendors, they are really very skeptical about data security. It is absolutely a no-no for them. And it takes a lot of time to convince them that no, it is secured, even though it is.
Okay. We are about actually over the time right now. I'll just see if any last question from the audience, or else we can call it a day. Any last question from the audience? Okay, fine. Thanks a lot, Shubha, for the wonderful session, and the examples you set were really very relatable, and you made really AI a democratic one. And thank you, Shubho, for organizing this wonderful session and giving us this platform. I'm thrilled having you all in this forum. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice rest
Thank
of the
you.
day. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you all. Bye bye.